All right, so there's been a lot of talk about suppressors over the last couple days, and I understand a lot of these YouTube channels saying buy one now if you want one. There's going to be a shortage on them, this and that. I disagree. This is just my personal thoughts and feelings on the matter. There may be a shortage of them for a month or two, but before solvent traps were made it illegal to even possess them because they were silencer parts, there were tons and tons and tons of videos on YouTube. People building $20 Chinese solvent trap suppressors, to some of these really nice ones. I think Maglite flashlight tube suppressors that were really nice, metal and that would hold up. I think these companies are going to come right back out offering all the parts and everything as soon as as soon as suppressors are removed from the NFA. The other thing too is if the suppressor companies can't keep up, okay, the demand's that high. Once it's no longer an NFA item, once these people no longer need these special licenses and that to build them, it just becomes a gun part. I think you're going to see a lot more companies open up, and it's also going to drive the cost down on them. I make enough money where I could afford to buy a suppressor. I could afford the tax stamp if I really wanted it bad enough. But my oldest boy and a bunch of my friends, they all got suppressors. Some of them paid $500 for them. Some guys paid up to $1,500 for a suppressor. And I have shot a ton of suppressors. It's not like in the movies. They're not whisper quiet. They're still, pretty, especially like 5.56 is still pretty loud in that. It's enough where you probably don't need hearing protection, although most of the guys I know that shoot suppressors still wear hearing protection. I didn't when I shot it. I thought it was tolerable without hearing protection. But like I say, it wasn't whisper quiet. I didn't see any good reason why I would spend $500 or more on a suppressor, or a $200 extortion fee to get permission to have it, and all that. It's not worth it to me. Too many things I want more. Guns I want more and stuff like that than that. But if they take it off the NFA list, I'm going to build my own. I mean, I priced it back when the solvent trap thing was big. I was like, well, I could make them parts. I could build one. But why would I build 200 or, build one and pay $200 extra just to get permission to build it and have it? To me, it was a waste of $200. I mean, if it made it whisper quiet like in the movies, yeah, I could see it. But, I'm begging for permission and paying $200 for something that, yeah, it looks cool. Yeah, definitely it helps with shooting as far as not being so loud and that. But it just wasn't worth the cost. I don't think, like I said, 6 months tops. I don't think it's going to be hard to find a suppressor or hard to find the information and the parts to make one if they get removed from the NFA. It's still got to go through the Senate. I have high hopes that it'll make it through the Senate, but I don't know. I have mixed feelings. I'm 50-50 on whether the rhinos in the Senate will shove it right up our rear ends and stick it to us or what. But I'm not going out and buying a suppressor. I'm not worried about it. Like I said, at the most I would ever pay for a suppressor would be tops a couple $100. And that's tops from start to finish. So suppressors aren't, I think they should be removed off the NFA, but it's not something high on my list. I want to build an SBR. But I'm just not going to pay the money. I mean, just not going to do it. It's not worth it to me. There's too many other things I want. I mean, I know guys that got, just in tax stamps, $4,000 just in tax stamps for suppressors, because once they got one, they wanted to have one for this gun and one for that gun and one for another gun. And you know, I like guns. If I was to build an SBR, I'm sure I'd want to build another one and another one and another one, and I'm just not paying the $200, and I'm not jumping through the hoops or nothing else. If it's removed off the NFA, then cool, I'll do it. But as far as suppressors go, I don't think it's nearly as big. I think the suppressor companies are telling people, the gun shops that sell suppressors, the people that are into suppressors and that, how hard it's going to be, this and that, because I think personally they know the market is going to be flooded with solvent traps. And there was guys out there, I believe CRS did some videos where he was buying $20 solvent traps, and it might not have been CRS. I remember at one point when solvent traps were still legal, I was thinking about biting the $200 tax stamp and doing it. But there was guys building solvent trap, $20 solvent traps into suppressors, and they worked good on 22. They burned out within a magazine or so on 5.56. But I mean, if you're building a $20 suppressor for a 22, that's way cheaper than what you're going to buy a commercial made suppressor for. And as far as 5.56, there was guys building them out of the Maglite stuff and freeze plugs and that were building suppressors that were holding up for years for $100. So like I said, even a couple $100. I'll wait and see what happens. I'm just not really worried about it. I mean, if I wanted one bad enough, I would have spent the $200 and jumped through the hoops years ago. But if they come off the list, I am not the least bit worried in suppressor shortages, price hikes, this and that. The market will adjust itself, and if suppressor companies can't keep up, more companies are going to pop up overnight, and at some point suppressor prices are going to come down because they're going to be competing with each other trying to sell. I don't think this is the doom and gloom that everybody's making it out to be. Like I said, this is just my personal opinion. We'll find out if I'm wrong. If the hushact, the HPA goes through and suppressors are removed from the NFA, maybe we'll come back and look at this video in 6 months and see if I was right or if I was wrong. But I really don't think it's a big deal. I know people that work in gun shops that are like, yeah, there's going to be a demand on them, this and that, but I don't think people are remembering how popular solvent traps were. And right now, if you want to build suppressors, there's all kinds of federal hoops you got to jump through in that. When them hoops are gone, or when it's not as expensive to build them and that, I think you're going to see a lot more companies popping up, or just a lot more people building their own. And I don't think it's going to be nearly as big of a deal as everybody thinks it is. But that's all I got for today. I hope everybody has a good weekend, good holiday, and I'll see you on the flip side.